So onto the first of onto the second formation lap go the drivers then. And in the grid itself there, you can see on the screen, we've got Ollie Caldwell and Mark Kimber on the front row, Axel Charpentier and Tom Canning alongside, Dylan Byes and Glenn Van Berlo on row 3, Killian Mayer and Joe Phillips on row 4, Oscar Paloma-Ortiz and Laszlo Toth completing the top 10 on the grid. It will be a 7-lap race on Chris Hartley, and this is round 3 of the Rotax Euro Challenge. To remind you of the point standings after 2 rounds, at the halfway mark, Axel Charpentier is the points leader on 175. He's 8 points clear of Glenn Van Berlo, and he's had a win, Axel Charpentier, in Belgium and second in Italy, and he also has won both of the pre-finals, so he's close to a perfect score so far for him. 2 podiums for Glenn Van Berlo. He was second in Belgium, he was third in Italy. Third in the championship is Mark Kimber on 159 points, but the winner last time out, his maiden Euro Challenge victory coming in Italy. And Ollie Caldwell, though, the driver on pole position, who's just moved into car racing. He's made his debut in the UK on the BTCC package, racing in the Junior Ginetta Championship. Youngest ever driver to get on the rookie podium there, setting British and world records to do so, getting a 5th place finish overall on his maiden race at Croft. So he's dual campaigning this championship and the Junior Ginettas this year before he looks to move into cars full-time next season. And he is the driver, number 64, Ollie Caldwell, that leads them around. But the championship leader is just behind him as they make their way up, creeping into the final turn, ready to start the race. Watch out for Joe Phillips as well from the 4th row of the grid. 14 years of age for KR Sport he races. And he is aiming to get into the grand finals this year by finishing, if he can, in the top 3 in this championship, or the BNL series, which he also races in the Belgium-based championship. Okay, then, our first race of the day gets underway here, and it's a good start for Ollie Caldwell from pole position, who gets down the inside. It's flat out through turn 1, so it's for the first time hitting the brakes into turn 2 now. Accelerate out of there. The midfield gets through, no dramas. One runs wide, but everybody safely through. Down to the hairpin, on the brakes again through this right-hander, coming up towards the end of the first sector, and those on the inside line, Caldwell, Charpentier and Dylan Byes, you would expect to have made the better starts to the race. So it is Caldwell, it is Charpentier, and it is Byes, the top 3. Then it's Killian Mayer, who's come through into 4th position. I think it might be Joe Phillips possibly just behind them in 5th place, but the top group of 5 have already made a good break from the rest of them. And running wide there is Dylan Byes in 3rd place, coming out of turn 6. He got alongside Axel Charpentier, but he ran out of road. And that means that the Spanish driver, Killian Mayer, goes 3rd. Killian, though, loses that place on the run into turn 7. Through the left-hander at turn 8, not towards the end of the lap they come. 3rd and 4th still side by side. And squeezing through is number 49, Glenn Van Berlo, to gain the place. They were wheel to wheel through a couple of corners, but it's Van Berlo who comes through to be in 3rd place at the end of the first lap of the race. But Killian Mayer is right with him in 4th place. Dylan Byes on his tail in 5th place. Number 74 wants to get the place back. He goes down the inside at turn 1, and he makes the move stick. So Killian Mayer up and down the order like a yo-yo, but currently is in 4th place. Your leader, though, is the pole sitter, Ollie Caldwell, with his nose in front at the end of the first lap of the race. Perfect start for him. 1 or 2 drivers coming through very late, having suffered on that first lap. Across the line they come now, but a long way from the lead group. And one of them, I'm afraid, is Joe Phillips, number 31, who was on the 4th row of the grid. So he's lost an awful lot of time. He's down out of the top 20 at the moment. Your race leader, Ollie Caldwell, is 4/10 of a second clear of the championship leader, Axel Charpentier. And then in Glenn Van Berlo, we have our 3rd place driver, Byes and Mayer, squabbling over 4th and 5th positions. Tamino Bergmeyer is leading the next group of karts. Number 33, the German driver, running in 6th place in his 7th season of racing. Started racing when he was just 8 years of age. He's 14 years of age now, as we see Dylan Byes onto the tail of Killian Mayer, still squabbling those 2 for position, and through goes the next group of karts as well. That's looking very close. Laurie Lepper and Mark Kimber are in that second group. Mark running in 8th place, so suffering a bit at the start of the race from the front row of the grid, but he's starting, I think, to make his way back into the mix now, Mark Kimber, as we see the 2 leaders change down at the hairpin, and through goes Axel Charpentier ahead of Ollie Caldwell. Through turns 2 and 3, he made that move stick, so Axel Charpentier takes his turn at the front of the field now. Caldwell down to 2nd place. Then Glenn Van Berlo is right with them in 3rd. A bit of a gap back then to Dylan Byes and Killian Mayer, who are 4th and 5th. And side by side for 2nd place here. Is there going to be another change? Yes, through goes Glenn Van Berlo. He makes that move happen on the way into turn 6. It's a slight uphill run coming out of 6, through the right-hander at 7, and into turn 8. It looks pretty flat when you watch it on the screens. It even looks pretty flat when you're looking at it from next to the track. But when you actually go around the track and walk around the track itself, it is slightly uphill. So it's critical to get a good run out of that turn, and that was a good move therefore from Glenn Van Berlo, not just to get the move done, but to keep the speed out of the corner. But he's coming back under fire into turn 1 as Ollie Caldwell gets back into second place. Through at turn 1 he goes, gets the slipstream. They're still will to will though going into turn 2 here. He's going to come out on top, absolutely neck and neck between them, Caldwell and battling away with Glenn Van Berlo. They'll be side by side again going down into the hairpin at turn 3. I think it's Van Berlo that's got his nose in front. This is all allowing Axel Charpentier to edge away. So Charpentier, Van Berlo and Caldwell, the top 3, second and third swapping and swapping again, and losing a bit of time to the race leader. Killian Mayer there in 4th place. Dylan Byes slotting into 5th and catching them up in 6th place. Tamino Bergmeyer, who is bringing with him Mark Kimber in 7th place now. 8th position is the number 50 card of Andre Volta, who's come up from the 7th row of the grid. Race leaders making their way into the 3rd sector of this lap. 7-lap race this, 2 corners before they cross the start-finish line once again. And the 2nd, 3rd place battle is now called back up to the race leader. So we've got 3 together, 4 together, nearly 5 together for the lead of the race here. And this has got a long race to run. It's 4 laps to go, and there's going to be more overtaking because Glenn Van Berlo down the inside of Axel Charpentier to get the lead for the first time in the race. So he becomes our 3rd different leader now. 2nd place for Charpentier, who gets a good run coming out of turn 2 and might line up a move down into the hairpin at 3. He dives down the inside. Ollie Caldwell tries to follow him through, and it could well be down to 3rd place here for Glenn Van Berlo if he's not careful. He's got the inside line though for the left-hander at turn 4. He's helped along by Killian Mayer, who squeezes down the inside, and poor old Ollie Caldwell ends up down in 5th place, I think, at the back of that group. Dylan Byes getting through as well. So Charpentier leads the race just about. Then Glenn Van Berlo, his main championship rival. These are the top 2 in the championship. And also in this group now, in 6th place, you've got Mark Kimber, who is 3rd in the championship. Plus, of course, Ollie Caldwell, who's 4th in the championship. So the championship contenders are all there in the mix. 5th in the championship is Adam Smalley, who at the moment is running in 12th place. But he has made up some ground because he started back on the 9th row of the grid. Here come our leaders then. There's bound to be more changes as they slipstream each other. It's Charpentier coming under fire from Glenn Van Berlo onto turn 2. Van Berlo goes through. He's going to take Killian Mayer and maybe Dylan Byes with him as well. And around the outside goes one into turn 2. Is that Charpentier trying to hold on to his place? I think it is, but it's not going to succeed for him. So Glenn Van Berlo will now take his turn at the head of the pack. He'll come out of the hairpin in 1st place. It looks like Killian Mayer in 2nd, and then everybody battling over 3rd place. They're almost 4 abreast as they come into the left-hander at turn 4. Fantastic race this already, and it's still the same top 2, and into 3rd place might be Dylan Byes. Yeah, I think it is Dylan Byes that squeezed through into 3rd place. Caldwell is coming back at them all as well. You got Kimber sort of going backwards one as well now. At the head of this group, though, is Glenn Van Berlo with a lap and a half to go. But he ain't exactly a long way clear, is he? He's got them all behind him. We've got 7 of them battling for the lead of the race, and it's changing on each and every corner here. Killian Mayer, 2nd, back to 3rd, has just gone Axel Charpentier. Dylan Byes down to 4th place. Then it looks like Caldwell and Kimber. Oh no, Caldwell's at the back of the group. It's Bergmeyer, Kimber, then Caldwell, I think, at the back of the group. And nose to tail for the lead of the race. Killian Mayer right onto the tail of the blue livery of Glenn Van Berlo, who's got them all queued up behind him on the way into turn 2. So he hugs the inside line. Somebody fires one right around the outside because all the inside line was totally blocked. There was a traffic jam. And that might have been Caldwell, who, if it's pulled off, would have gained 2 or 3 places with that move when they come back into our side at turn 4. So at the hairpin, it's Van Berlo, it's Mayer in 2nd, and yes, it is Ollie Caldwell. That was him going around the outside, and it was a lovely move to get him back into the top 3. Dylan Byes with the orange helmet, though, down the inside at turn 5, and Caldwell is forced out wide. Onto the grass goes Caldwell. He's going to lose a ton of places here because the top 10 are all together. There's more contact at turn 6. Somebody goes straight on from the middle of the pack at turn 6, straight on over the last turn and head straight for the pit lane. So that was a rather dramatic moment from in and around 10th place. It's all changed at the head of the field in that lead tussle, but 1st and 2nd are now well clear. Into the last corner they go. Glenn Van Berlo hasn't done this yet, though, because Killian Mayer is right on his tail as they come out of turn 10. It's going to be a sprint for the checkered flag here, but Glenn Van Berlo will hang on to win the race. 2nd place to Killian Mayer. Dylan Byes comes home in 3rd position. 4th place, Axel Charpentier. Into 5th place on that last lap came Josep Vea Toredo. He was nowhere. He was about 10th or 11th going on to the last lap of the race. He ends up 5th. Laurie Lepper comes up to 6th place. 7th place as they crossed the line was the number 45 kart of Wisnicki. That was a long way down the order to begin with. And also, that was Pietro Wisnicki, who was the 10th row of the grid. He started 20th in the race. He came through to 7th position. Adam Smalley gained 10 places to finish in 8th. He got quite a few positions on the last lap. Andre Volta, 9th place, gained 5. But he was higher up than 9th for quite a bit of that race. And Ollie Caldwell, who was 3rd with just about half a lap to go. That move from Dylan Byes, out wide he went as a result of it. And once he got on the grass, he just lost a ton of places as he lost all of his traction. So Ollie Caldwell, I'm afraid, from pole position, down in 10th place. There, the rest of the runners you can see on screen. Disappointment as well for Joe Phillips, who started the race all the way up on the 4th row of the grid, ending down out of the top 20. And likewise, Tom Canning from the 2nd row of the grid lost a load of places and ended up down in 27th. Non-finishes for Antoine Percival and Julian Kawabara